Hey there. Okay, let's talk about crow pose. It is the new year, and it's a perfect time of season to be playing around with arm balances, as arm balances are really heating and energizing, which sometimes we need a little extra of that during these cold, darker months in the winter. Crow pose is really fun to play around with. It is oftentimes the first arm balance that people experience. And just a friendly reminder, as you work towards crow pose, just engaging in the practice and trying is doing the practice. So whether you get up or not, I don't care how close you are, it just doesn't matter. You're engaging in the practice and you're learning lessons along the way, okay? So I recommend grabbing a blanket or a towel, something just to soften the fear a little bit. And if you have a block or even a couple tall books, you might want to grab one of those things too, okay? So we're going to hop on our mat. And we're going to break this down in a lot of stages, right? Because again, it's always about the process, not about the pose. So, things to do before we get into crow pose. You want to warm up your hips. The hips are open here. So, doing some exercises like squat pose, or really hugging the knees to the chest, sitting tall, or doing this while laying on your back, doing some lunges, coming into a squat, working on your squat pose. We just want to warm up our hips here. We also want to wake up our arms and our wrists. So you might also stretch your wrists, wake them up, roll them up, do a couple plank poses, just so that the body has some energy flowing and we're not coming into this cold. The core is also going to be very responsible for a lot of this work. I know it's called an arm balance, but the core really does a lot of the work here. So you also might want to just warm up the core in a number of different ways. Again, plank pose can be great for that. Okay, so once you feel like you've got your energy moving, we're gonna come into a little squat here with the feet closer together, okay? And bend our knees, dropping our butt toward our heels. Then we're going to place our hands on the mat, shoulder width apart or slightly wider. If you're not sure, are my hands shoulder width apart? Err on the side of too wide, okay? Not like massively, but rather than being too narrow. That's going to make it a lot harder. So, nice wide base here with our hands underneath our shoulders. And then the first thing we're going to do is just lift up our hips, open our knees, and try and get our knees up toward our armpits here, okay? So connecting your knees to your armpits. Keeping the eyes forward, then I'm gonna invite you to just start leaning forward, dispersing the weight more into your fingertips, and then lean back, okay? Press down through the hands, bend the elbows, reach your shoulders forward, and then lean back. Do that several times, okay? Reaching forward, leaning back. As you do this, pull your belly button toward your spine and push through the floor, okay? Next step, we're gonna lift a toe, and then we're gonna lower the toe. And then we're gonna lift the other toe and lower, okay? Keep pouring weight through the hands. Lift a toe, lower the toe. Lift and lower. It's a lot of work, so then maybe take a break, okay? Remembering the whole time we want to pull our belly buttons toward our spine, okay? So then again, we're going to start again. Lift our butts, open the knees, bring the knees high up on those arms. Start to bend your elbows so the arms become like a little shelf. Lean forward, keep leaning forward until the feet can float off the ground. Use your belly button to draw your toes toward your butt. Push the floor away and breathe. Squeezing everything in. Okay? Arm balancing is meant to be a slow, steady process, just like anything else. So If you're flying up and rushing through it, you will fall, okay? So as tempting as it is to kind of go fast and just get up and then be there, try and take your time with it, okay? Again, it's balance. So again, we want to find that point of balance where the feet can lift up. The belly button does a lot of the work to lift those toes off of the ground, okay? Something that tends to happen a lot that to just be mindful of is we want to look toward our belly button, okay? So avoid the temptation to do this because you just won't have the balance. So keep your eyes looking just a little bit ahead of you, okay? Head is long, neck is long, not overextended, but just neutral, okay? This blanket here is to just help the mind. It's like a little crash pad. So you might even fold it up a little bit more. So know that if you do fall forward, you have something soft. And if you do fall forward, you're doing it right. That means you're breaking through that barrier of fear and you're leaning forward, okay? We have to get that lean forward. The shoulders have to reach forward beyond the elbows in order to find that balancing point. Okay, one other thing, a trick that you can use to work on this is using a block, or you can stack a couple books. Okay, so when you have this, you're gonna place your feet on that block, and that just gives everything a little bit extra of a lift, helping you out a little bit. So the feet are on the block, hands shoulder width apart, same things apply here. Now we just have our knees are up a little higher already for us. So we lift our butts, place the knees behind the arms, high up, squeeze the inner thighs together, bend the elbows leaning forward, draw the navel to the spine to lift those toes up. Breathe. We always forget to breathe when we are arm balancing a lot because we're working really hard and there's a lot of things to focus on. So I know that's a lot to remember. Remember to have fun with it. We're playing. And again, it's not about getting into crow pose. It's about trying new things, finding new capacities, breaking your own limitations, and learning about the way you handle challenge, the way you handle fear, the way you encounter new things. It teaches us a lot about ourselves and how we engage with different processes. So remember, there's always internal lessons to be found through the physical practice of yoga. Please have fun with it. Take it day by day. A little every day goes a long way. And remember, you're still building strength internally and externally, even just by attempting it. Okay? Have fun. Let me know your successes. And I'll talk to y'all soon.